should also stress that this demonstration today on the 25th is part of a national demonstration that is calling for the American people to understand that we are asking for a special prosecutor.
An independent prosecutor?
An independent special prosecutor that would look at all of these things, somebody that we trust. Now, Obama,
so not Kissinger, right?
Holder,
okay, yeah.
They could appoint somebody that we all trust, maybe Fitzgerald, the U.S. attorney that really did some good stuff. But it's got to be someone that we trust. So when he comes out with the report and she comes out with the report, that we all understand what happened. Okay, this is so out of the ordinary that it's almost like watching a child being beat to death.
Yeah.
And
no, it is like
anything.
It is like watching a child being beat to death.
Because there are thousands that were beat to death.
Right. I mean,
nobody will do anything. It's just like being a witness to that, and you're standing there saying, why doesn't a cop do something?
I haven't been doing the torture issue at all as an activist, but I mean, on the street, I'll occasionally talk to people about it because I do other issues. But one of the things that I've heard is people say it's like a college prank. And I've read, okay, hanging somebody up by their arms for like, 12, 14 hours and beating them, that is not I mean, if they're doing that in college, there should be some school administrators put in prison. I mean, that's ridiculous.
The right wing and Fox News have said over and over again, this is no big deal. But let me give you a big deal. There are 25 active homicide investigations going on by the Department of Defense right now.
Right.
There are probably hundreds that we don't know about because we can't get anybody to stop that child being beaten to death. We need someone to say what happened. Who was involved? Why is there a appellate court judge sitting on the greatest court in the land, the Ninth Circuit, as a reward for writing torture memos?
Right.
Why?
And why is Obama saying we don't need to look backwards, we need to look forward? Why is Obama blocking the photographs that were taken at Abu Ghraib of these abuses going on, making sure that this evidence doesn't come out to the mainstream? That's actually blocking you guys' momentum. I mean, if more of the citizenry at large would have access to those photographs and that information, there would be more people across the street there helping you, I mean, why do you think that is? I mean, he's supposed to be, he ran as a anti-war Democrat, he said he's going to put a stop to torture. He claimed that he's going to close Guantanamo Bay, like all this stuff. It's contradictory is what I'm saying. Like, why do you think that is?
His last news conference, one of the reporters asked him about the woman who was murdered in Iran.
Okay.
She was filmed dying on the street. And somebody asked him about that. Did he see that? And he said yes. And it broke my heart. So then somebody else asked the question after the news conference, I think, well, if that broke your heart, why don't you release the photos? All these photos of people being tortured by the United States of America. Why won't you release those so that people can at least see it? That it's not some college prank. That people died at our hands. People were murdered. He didn't have an answer.
Crickets, huh?
Yeah. I mean, if the people of the United States think Obama's going to cure their problems and is going to come out and take care of all this stuff, if they think he is going to close Guantanamo, if they think he's going to stop the occupations and do good by everybody in the United States where we can all hold our heads up high, they're fooling themselves. They're listening to Fox too much. Turn it off and sit down and start reading. Because it's not going to happen. Only the American people have the ability to do something.
Yeah.
Believed ourselves to be. There's a few people out there who think that my country, right or wrong, is the way that the saying goes. But the actual saying went, my country, right or wrong, when right to be kept right, when wrong to be put right.
Yeah.
That's an American
But the country is
policy.
better because some people who protest get killed for it,
sometimes.
And we don't.
So I'm supposed to get down on my knees and thank little baby Jesus that someone's not shooting me for standing here?
Yeah.
No, see, there's a difference between freedom and liberty.
Yeah.
Okay, like liberty, I have inalienable rights that are given to me by God, not a man and not a court. Okay, so I'm sorry, but that doesn't fly with me. Okay, do you realize that the majority of the population of Oregon lives inside something, thanks to the justification for this torture? Okay, we live inside something called a constitution-free zone. I mean, I almost want to barf when I say that. A constitution-free zone. Okay, the Department of Homeland Security, or Reichland, because Reich means province or home, okay, for those that don't speak German, okay, has decided to draw a 100-mile border from the north and south border in both coasts, 100 miles inland, to where they can set up Nazi-style checkpoints. Sprechen Sie Deutsche, your papers please, your paper please.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what goes on in America right now. I'm in completely in agreement with this gentleman. This is not American behavior. This is Soviet Union or East German Stasi behavior.
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem
But
is that
again,
we're seeing the
they're doing
beginnings
that
of it.
because
This isn't really. I mean, the things that we're seeing are kind of like
there's 2
trial
million,
balloons, a lot
3
of them.
million illegal immigrants.
Which, by the way, generally are usefully, gainfully employed.
Yes.
And generally end up paying into the tax system, but never take the money out.
Yes.
I'm just
I
sort of curious. Why is it hard for them to go the legal way?
oh, because it's made that way.
It's designed that way.
The
It's-
structure of the process to
Yes.
enter the country legally is actually sometimes it takes years just to
Yes.
get a simple work permit.
Huh.
And during those times, people are only there is different regions. You have different waiting places,
Yeah.
and so I believe if you're down in Texas, they send you to someplace nearby, sort of across the Gulf or something, where you got to wait and your family's got to wait, and you can't work and you can't do anything. You just get to wait,
And-
it can take a couple, 3 years, and many as I've heard figures as high as 8 for a person to get his work permit and naturalization going.
Would there be any way to make it easier?
Well, there would, but the problems that we encounter are the same over
The
and over.
economic
Underfunding.
hardship pushes them off their land, and that's why they immigrate here illegally.
Yeah.
Like through globalization, through
Survival.
NAFTA and GATT, and the farmers being pushed off their land in Mexico. Like
Yeah.
there's a huge amount of cheap labor that the corporations really love. Are you kidding me? The corporations over here want people here that have never heard of a Bill of Rights and that have never heard of a Constitution, never heard of OSHA. They love these cheap workers. And something